pill bottle with pills on the floor that is on the ground. It doesn't appear to be glass present. Pictures missing.
Appeared to be chemical burns from pine sol that had been poured on her lower face, neck, and upper chest.
The detectives have just stumbled upon a horrific crime scene. Mindy Morgenstern, who was just 21 years old, was discovered brutally murdered in her own apartment. Her neck had been severed, and any potential clues had been completely erased. It was a shocking sight.
There was a knife that was still in her neck. The handles broke off. There was another knife right next to her that was broke.
The detectives face a monumental task in tracking down the murderer, as they must sift through numerous possibilities hiding a deadly secret.
I knew her in passing. I cut it today right along here.
What kind of things have you been arrested for?
Assault, battery, shouting.
I know you got a mark on your hand. How did you get that?
I don't have an answer for you.
Until an unforeseen twist reveals the identity of the killer, all the while concealed in plain sight.
He thought he got away with the perfect crime.
I really didn't think he was capable of anything like that.
What follows is sourced from public police records. It's the first time we're sharing this. Much of the footage you'll see in this documentary has been shown before. We delve deep into the complete story. Don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe if you're enthusiastic about true crime documentaries, and enable the notification bell so you're always updated on new cases as they become available. Your support not only fosters the growth of the channel but also keeps these narratives alive, ensuring that the victims and their stories are never forgotten. I'm also curious about where you're tuning in from. It's truly remarkable to see how far these stories travel. It's amazing how people worldwide unite to remember, reflect, and seek justice. So, please leave a comment below. Share your insights on this case and engage in the conversation. Now, let's dive in. Valley City, North Dakota is experiencing a Wednesday evening on September 13th, 2006. Toni Bowman and her friend, Danielle Holmstrom, are en route to pick up Mindy Morgenstern, who is 21, for a night out with friends. However, Mindy's cell phone has been turned off since the afternoon. Toni rushes up the stairs and pushes open Mindy's door. As she flicks on the lights, she discovers Mindy lying lifeless on the floor, her neck slashed, and a white belt encircling her waist. It feels like a nightmare come to life.
I was in my car when Toni was running out of Mindy's apartment building, screaming and yelling. I think Mindy's dead, something around her neck.
A neighbor rushes to the apartment upon hearing frantic screams and is confronted with the sight of the deceased body. The terrified woman quickly calls emergency services. A responding officer arrives promptly, but he's unprepared for the violent scene before him.
And I saw her laying on her back. There was a knife that was still in her neck. The handles broke off. There was another knife right next to her that was broke.
Another unsettling element adds to the already chilling sight. A strong scent of pine sol permeates the crime scene, which is impossible to overlook. The pine sol bottle is present.
Pine sol bottle, it was laying in the crook of the arm of Mindy Morgenstern. Was it to deface the body, or was it to destroy any evidence that would have been left there?
There are no indications of forced entry, and nothing appears to have been taken. Mindy's wallet, cell phone, and purse are all sprawled on the floor beside her. From the evidence, it didn't seem like a random attack. However, the police observed something peculiar about the condo. Numerous photographs of Mindy with her friends and family are missing from several picture frames.
Look on the north wall. First of all, there are no pictures on the north wall. Down below, of course, there is a picture that is on the ground that doesn't appear to be glass present. Pictures missing.
There are insinuations that someone had an obsession with Mindy, but at this stage, we can't definitively say. According to Mindy's friends, she returned from college around 12:30 p.m. and missed Toni's call almost immediately after. Shortly thereafter, residents of the building report a strong pine sol odor. Detectives successfully narrowed down the time frame of the murder to that same afternoon. It was determined that Mindy was killed between 12:45 and 1:30 p.m. Following the autopsy of her body, another crucial piece of evidence emerged. During the autopsy, it appeared that there might be skin remnants underneath her fingernails.
We did the autopsy. It appeared like there may have been skin underneath her fingernails. We clipped her fingernails, and those scrapings and fingernails were sent to the state crime lab where they were analyzed.
The small pieces of skin found beneath Mindy's nails are a vital piece of evidence. Yet, as the investigation progresses, suspicions begin to arise about one of the first individuals to see the body, Robert Lynn, the neighbor who dialed 911. When authorities uncovered that Robert had acted rather strangely at the crime scene, it prompted them to take a closer look. When the police found out that Robert had done something very odd at the crime scene,
He actually came up and touched the body. Well, it was certainly worth to talk to him.
investigators are questioning Robert Lynch as they analyze the DNA discovered beneath Mindy's fingernails. He is no longer just a bystander. Suddenly, the investigators uncover Robert's history of criminal activity. With his past taken into account, every word he utters now carries more weight.
Okay, let's go back to Wednesday. You're home, watching TV, you sit down for supper, and then what happens?
I'm sitting on the couch, watching TV, watching on chips and I hear this abnormal noise outside. It's right on the front. And what I mean by abnormal is it wasn't normal as far as voices go or any noises that it was an agitated noise.
Robert carefully recounts to the police what he observed and overheard. He states that he heard Mindy's friends screaming, and when he arrived at the crime scene, one of them urged him to check on her. At first, Robert's account appears credible until investigators notice his hands are marked with cuts and scratches. These injuries were fresh and raw, revealing far too much for someone who claimed they were merely checking for a pulse.
What's your finger there? What's happening there? I see you got a Band-Aid on it.
Yeah, white boy Band-Aid.
But that's not the only aspect that raises questions. When the police request a DNA sample, Robert's response adds complexity to the case.
I didn't touch anything, with my fingers. And when I did, like I said, knocked on the door like this. And when I opened the door, because it was a jar, I opened it like this. And when I touched her arm, I touched it like this.
His oddly elaborated defense only serves to raise more suspicions. After Robert consents, swab samples are collected for DNA analysis. However, the truth about his involvement won't be revealed until those results arrive. Until then, the police delve into Mindy's personal life to uncover any potential issues that could have escalated into something deadly.
We started to canvass the neighborhood, conduct interviews of Mindy's friends, acquaintances.
They called me in. They asked if there was anybody we thought who would want to do this to Mindy or why, and we had no idea.
Anyone could be a suspect. Among the sea of sorrowful faces, one stands out distinctly. A neighboring resident from Mindy's building. One of her friends seems to have a particular fondness for this individual. Concerned,
I remember seeing lights flashing, all of these people coming in and out, all these people gathering, people crying, people hugging. And then you see this man carrying a laundry basket like there is nothing wrong with the chaos that is going on.
Lacey reports this neighbor to an officer. When the officer investigates, they discover he is Maurice Mo Gibbs, 34 years old, residing in the unit above Mindy's. Mo offers assistance. When they talk to him, and he comes to the station for an interview, it comes to light that he works as a prison guard in Barnes County.
What we need to do is start eliminating people. And, I know you voluntarily gave a DNA sample. And the only way we can do that, we've got to start eliminating people as suspects or having anything to do with it.
The investigator also uncovers something about Mo that piques their interest.
So you got honorable discharge on?
Dishonorable.
What was that for?
Assault.
Assault? Who did you assault?
It was law mistake.
Oh, okay. Evidently somebody you shouldn't have been
assaulted.
Okay. How long have you worked for the sheriff's department here?
Since May.
And your position is called what? Correctional officer? Okay. What about prior to that? You ever been arrested for anything?
Recently? Or all my life?
What kind of things have you been arrested for?
I mean, assault, battery, shoplifting.
Where were all these things at? What?
California. This is before I even turned 18.
The police inquire how Mo knows Mindy and what type of neighborly relationship they shared.
So did you know Mindy well enough that you were on a first name basis? You talked to each other all the time?
Well, no, we didn't talk to each other all the time. It was in passing. Like, we would see each other pass and be like, hey, you know, how you doing?
Mm-hmm.
But it was no long conversations.
Oh, okay.
Like that.
Okay. But did she know your name?
Yeah, I would believe so.
Okay.
Because she knows my wife.
Okay.
So, they know the whole family.
Did you guys get together and visit at all?
Like, just to go out and hang out?
Well, even in the apartment building.
No, we never hung out. I mean, I went to her place one time, and that was probably either a week and a half or 2 weeks ago. Okay. And that was just because she was coming home and she was holding her pants, holding a laundry basket and her book bag.
Oh,
After this, Mo admits to the police where he was on the afternoon of September 13th, the day Mindy was murdered.
Well, and this, I've been talking to my wife because I might have my days mixed up on but I know now that me and her talked about it, I left the apartment at 11:30 with her because she has to be at work at 12:30 that day. And we went to lunch. So then I dropped her off at work at around 12:30, 12:35, and I came back to the apartment. And I got to the apartment between 12:45 and 1 o'clock.
Where'd you guys go to lunch at?
I'm going to guess and say Burger King, but, we do so many things, it's just hard to remember.
Well, yeah, that's a week down the road here, and I know you went back to the apartment building.
Yes.
Okay, so what time do you think you got back to the apartment building?
I said between 12:45 and 1 o'clock.
Despite Mo's cooperation and the respect he garners from the officers, the detectives remain uncertain about his true identity due to something from his past. They release him, since no other connections to the crime scene exist. Mindy's murder is gradually evolving into an unsolved case, indicating that anyone could be concealing their dreadful actions. Detectives will meticulously monitor those who were closest to Mindy, particularly those she relied on and communicated with daily. Then her boyfriend, Jordan Raynham, arrives. Considering Jordan and Mindy have been in a relationship for over a year, the police must investigate him more thoroughly.
We want to talk to you about the night before, and then take us right through the day, okay?
Okay.
So, you were the night before, that would have been the evening of the 12th.
Okay, we went out to Stop and Go. We got something to drink, we rented a movie. It was called Inside Man. We got home, we watched it. Next one, she
Jordan informs the police that he had only spoken to Mindy once on the 13th, which in itself seemed odd. She frequently called or texted him to update him on every small event throughout her day. Thus, her sudden silence was not just unusual, it deeply alarmed him. He explains to the police that he was working on the family farm at the time of Mindy's death, helping establish his whereabouts. Moreover, he doesn't hesitate when the police request DNA samples and a polygraph. He readily agrees to both, at least on the surface. This decision creates an impression that he has nothing to conceal. Detectives do not need to regard him as a suspect because of the results, the fact that he cooperated, and his clean background. Thus, they begin to rule him out as a suspect, eliminating a significant name from their list. Furthermore, due to his clean history, they conclude that he is unlikely to be the boyfriend responsible, which clears another vital name from the investigation. Additionally, his spotless background led them to rule out her boyfriend as a suspect, eliminating a crucial name from the investigation. While that's true, it doesn't really help clarify the case as the uncertainty continues to mount. A new lead emerges. Mindy's friends reveal that Jordan wasn't the only significant person in her life. It turns out, she still had feelings for Kyle Kuznia. Her ex-boyfriend and whatever was happening between them is enough for the police to further investigate. Someone comes forward to speak with Kyle. 3 days after Mindy's murder.
Tell me how your relationship developed and what happened.
Let's see. Like I said, we dated for about 2.5 to 3 years. And over that time period, it was, I guess, really hard and kind of a rocky relationship. And mainly, I was just my own personal opinion, but her ex-boyfriend it seemed like he was always kind of in the picture, whether they were talking on the phone or because he was, not to say obsessed, but was definitely, had feelings for her still after they broke up.
Kyle says something that not many people like about Mindy. Kyle says Mindy was interested in other guys while she was with him. And
it seemed like anytime I would chat with one of my friends that was a female that I'd known for maybe our freshman year up through our senior year, she would seem like she would get a little jealous. She would, yell at me about it, and I'd tell her, relax. I said, it's like we've known each other for 3.5 years, and I said, there's no feelings, no nothing. I said, we're just talking about, the basketball game last night or something. And so I'd bring it up to her as far as, I said, so is it wrong for you to get upset with you if you're still talking to your ex-boyfriend compared to just a friend I've had before, obviously you were in the picture? And I'm just trying to think, kind of really after that, finding another girl or female down in Fargo.
The interview with Kyle presents a complicated picture filled with feelings of jealousy. There's confusion and stress. The police are aware that Kyle might not be a solid lead. But before wrapping up their conversation, Kyle drops a bombshell.
She was very flirty, young lady.
Have you had any other contact with her?
No, like I said, I don't remember receiving any phone calls that I didn't take or anything like that. I know she would kind of work or get information kind of through my dad or whatever. It seemed like him and her would continue to talk, and he'd call me and say, well, Mindy's, this is going on or this is going on. And I even asked my dad too. I said, I would appreciate it if you just stopped talking to her. That's kind of weird.
Law enforcement is very intrigued by this new information. Detectives are puzzled as to why a married man was in frequent contact with a college student, especially since he called Mindy so often and for lengthy conversations, which even made Kyle uncomfortable.
I said, because really, Dad, I said, it's even tearing our relationship apart. I said, it's like, I don't want you talking to her. And I said, what do you, 10, 20 years down the road, you guys are still going to be talking, and Candace and I will maybe be married and having a couple of grandkids, and you're still going to be talking to my, ex-girlfriend. I said, that's just kind of weird.
This is kind of weird.
Yeah. I think back in June or July, I told him I said, you stop talking to her. I said, unfortunately, I just won't come home for 2 years then. I said, and you can tell Mom and the siblings and brothers and sisters why.
2 significant pieces of the puzzle were missing from Kyle's account. Mindy had interests beyond just Kyle while she was engaged to him. It only raises suspicions. When police can connect this to something discovered at the crime scene, Mindy's belongings have vanished. When detectives see the broken photo frames of Mindy, they can't help but speculate. Could it have been a secret admirer from her past who was obsessed with her? Roger Kuznia, Kyle's father, is the second connection. Detectives invite Rodney in for a casual talk, but they're genuinely interested in uncovering more about him and the questionable relationship he had with her.
You and Mindy became, we call it friends, She dated your son.
Correct.
And I don't understand the relationship that you have with her after your son broke up.
Well, you'd have to know Mindy. She was quite the bubbly character.
I understand that.
Her actions and her, put it this way, she reminded me so much of my wife in her younger days.
Okay.
Said it like it was. She didn't like you, she let you know. Or if something was wrong, well, you said that, type deal. Person like that.
It doesn't seem logical to compare Mindy to his younger wife. It muddles the situation and makes me question how they're connected. To the police, it sends off alarm bells. Then comes the information that confirms their suspicions. According to law enforcement, one of the last calls Mindy received on the night she was murdered was from Rodney. Detectives are unsettled by the voicemail. This raises questions about whether it was genuine sorrow or a calculated move to change perceptions of him after the fact. Regardless, the reality is, the police can't simply overlook Rodney. His DNA is collected, and Rodney Kuznia becomes a pivotal figure in the unfolding story.
At this time in the investigation, we had some really good suspects, which would be the ex-boyfriend Kyle, his father Rodney, Jay, and Mo. We had to keep eyes on all four of these suspects until the DNA samples came back.
With each new suspect, layers of doubt creep into the case. Meanwhile, outside the police station, people take a moment to grieve. Mindy's funeral is a deeply somber occasion. Detectives attend the funeral quietly, hoping to uncover something that the interrogations haven't revealed. But if the killer is present among the grieving crowd, they blend in seamlessly. Up to this point, investigators have only one lead to pursue: the DNA evidence. The crucial piece that will unravel this mystery lies in Mindy's final encounter with her murderer, where she managed to scratch the assailant. 4 primary suspects are now on the radar of the police. But while contemplating the next steps, another tip comes in from a peculiar source.
As law enforcement is gathering and following up on leads, it turns out one of the leads was actually provided by Mindy prior to her death.
Brad Cruff, the district attorney, mentions that 2 to 3 weeks prior to the murder, Mindy had reached out to law enforcement, suggesting she felt followed. What was once dismissed as anxiety now takes on a chilling tone. Detectives track down Mindy's co-worker. After conducting further investigation, the tip directs them to a man residing across the street from Robbie's. They are now keenly aware of an individual who appears suspicious. Detectives are ready to dig deeper into the man, who has been lurking at the edges of the case. So, they approach him to ask some questions.
Do you live anyplace else besides in your camper?
No.
Okay. Kind of a loner, are you?
You could say I'm a drifter, but, yeah, I'm kind of a loner.
Have you ever been in any kind of trouble with the law?
None.
Have you ever eaten at, do you ever go for coffee or anything at Roby's?
Nope. That's one place I've never been in.
You've never been in Roby's?
Nope.
It's right across the street from you.
I know.
You've been in almost all the other restaurants, but not there.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that?
I don't have an answer for you.
Remember what you were doing on Wednesday?
On Wednesday? I was here.
Your Wednesday? Did you know this girl?
Not at all.
They notice something else about him besides how he acts in the interview room, which is strange. He got a new scratch on his arm.
I know you got a mark on your hand. How did you get that?
When I put that oil filter on.
Was it kind of a tight squeeze to get your hand?
Yeah.
Here's the deal. We've questioned a lot of people, and every person that we've talked to so far has been extremely cooperative with us, such as you have been with these questions that we've asked.
Sure, I'd like to help you find whoever did that.
Did you have anything to do with this girl's death?
I haven't killed anyone.
Did you kill her?
Ever. I didn't kill her.
With that, the total number of suspects has now climbed to 5, including the guy from across the street, Robert Linz, Kyle Kuznia, Rodney Kuznia, Mo Gibbs, and all of them are now individuals being investigated in connection with Mindy's case, 5 days following the murder that occurred on September 18, 2006. DNA testing was conducted on all 5 suspects. The results reveal an undeniable truth, which shocks everyone connected to the case. The revelation of the name creates such astonishment that the DNA is retested for confirmation. Interestingly, the results are the same both times, leading to the identification of someone who had been present from the beginning and was easily recognizable, someone the officers know and trust, now connected to the most heinous crime in the area, a realization that astonishes them.
4 of the samples came back negative, and 1 of the samples came back a positive match. Well, that DNA was ran twice just to verify that the DNA was correct. The DNA that came back positive pointed towards a person in the community that a lot of people knew. and trusted.
Given the DNA gathered from Mindy's nails, Mo Gibbs, a corrections officer in Barnes County, fits this description perfectly. As soon as Mo returns to the station, agents will attempt to coax a confession from him without revealing that his secret is already exposed.
Regarding Mindy's death, do you intend to truthfully answer those questions?
Yes.
Between the ages of 21 and 33, do you remember hurting someone on purpose?
No.
During the first 33 years of your life, do you remember forcing a girl to have sex with you?
Although the detective is already suspicious, he chooses to tighten the noose further by assigning Mo a new task. This task is designed to make Mo's mind race and compel him to drop the facade he has meticulously constructed.
You said you have no idea how Mindy died or anything. Is that correct? Other than what you heard that she had her throat cut. But other than that, you wouldn't have any idea of anything that happened to her?
No.
Okay. You have no idea if, she was tied up or she was...
Well, I've heard it wasn't a sexual assault.
Okay. But you don't know, you shouldn't know, was she tied up or anything like that?
No.
Okay. You don't know if she was suffocated with a blanket or anything like that, or with a plastic bag, or whether she was choked or anything like that?
No.
Okay. What I'm going to do, I'm going to make up another 8 questions. And what they're going to be are different things that she could have been choked with. And again, I'll go over with you. Only the person that was actually in there should know that. And you weren't in there, so you shouldn't know any of this.
Okay.
All right? Okay, which of the following items is wrapped around Mindy's neck? A rope?
No.
A bra?
No.
A pair of pants?
No.
A pair of nylons?
No.
A shoelace?
No.
A belt?
No.
A hose?
No.
A clothes hanger?
No.
Mo doesn't know that he failed the test 3 times yet, but he still won't admit to doing this horrible thing. So detectives end the polygraph test and let the evidence and results talk for themselves.
Well, there's a little bit of indication there that something is bothering you about this. And, I guess I just want to try and get it resolved.
Bothering about what?
Well, like, for example, you claim you didn't know anything about, what was wrapped around her neck and that. But yet when I asked you about the belt, you really reacted to it. And I guess I'm just sort of wondering why that was.
I just answered, truthfully, I don't know.
Okay. Did you have any type of relationship going with Mindy or anything?
None whatsoever.
And I know you just got married and you may be afraid to talk about it, but if you did, we need to know about it so we can explain the reactions here. What do you know about DNA?
Nothing.
Nothing? And you you let them take a swab from you to match against DNA.
Yeah.
How would you feel if I told you that your DNA matches DNA that we found on Mindy's body?
I'd be like, that wasn't true. So I know I wasn't there. So.
Okay. DNA is pretty specific, down to millions of people.
Yeah, I understand that.
And somewhere along the line, Mindy scratched the person that attacked her. Your DNA is matching what we found on her, under her fingernail. You tell me then, how did scrapings or your skin get under her fingernails? How could that have happened?
You tell me. I know nothing about DNA. I know I wasn't there.
The only way it could have gotten there, Mo, was through contact.
It's clear that Mo is trapped, but what he never, ever thought would happen is that the DNA test also showed another dark truth about his past that is now in the detective's file.
The DNA that they brought up, it also matches the DNA that was found on a girl that was sexually assaulted 2 years ago in Fargo.
Okay. 2 years ago in Fargo?
Yep, in 2004. During the time period you were in Fargo.
It's a case that remained unresolved because the perpetrator was never identified until now. It was Mo Gibbs. After all, everyone in the department knows Mo and regards him as a clever and professional colleague. Mo is given numerous opportunities to reveal the truth, yet he insists he had nothing to do with the murder. The police cannot determine their next step, so they arrest Mo on first-degree murder charges.
Could you stand up, please, and put your hand behind your back? We have an arrest warrant for the murder of Mindy Morgenstern.
So what do you think, Dave, about this stuff with Mo?
Honestly, I was shocked. I knew Mo personally, but I knew that the evidence and the DNA didn't lie. I knew that Mo had done it.
Even though they are stunned that one of their own could commit such a horrific act, things are about to take a turn for the worse. Ultimately, the Valley City Police Department uncovers that Mo Gibbs had changed his name from Glendale Morgan Jr. in 2005 and had spent 5 years behind bars for his role in a drive-by shooting. One after another, all the dark secrets he had been concealing his entire life surfaced. 6 more women from Barnes County Prison came forward after he was charged, stating that Mo Gibbs had assaulted them while he was a guard there. Mo Gibbs faced allegations of murder and assaulting 7 additional individuals. He pleaded guilty to sexual assault. He is still on trial for Mindy's murder. A DNA expert for the defense testified at the trial, claiming that Mo's DNA was only present due to him helping Mindy with her laundry, which resulted in the trial being cut short. But it turned out to be Mo's final attempt to defend himself.
They brought in a director of a DNA lab who was actually Quincy's lab assistant on that old Quincy television show. He was their, I guess, star witness.
Later, it was discovered that this so-called expert was actually an actor from a crime show who had been running a fraudulent crime lab. Maurice Mo Gibbs was found guilty of killing Mindy Morgenstern on November 11th, 2007. He was subsequently convicted of first-degree murder on November 20th, 2007. Yet he never admitted to being responsible for the crime nor revealed the truth about that day. Mo received a life sentence without the possibility of parole. He is currently incarcerated at the North Dakota State Penitentiary, located in Bismarck, North Dakota. At present, the murder of Mindy Morgenstern has profoundly impacted her community. She was young, compassionate, and filled with potential. Someone whose brightness illuminated the lives of those around her. Her life was taken away far too soon. Nevertheless, her legacy continues to motivate those who knew her to advocate for justice, safety, and change. Stories like Mindy's remind us that evil can lurk in everyday situations, yet they also reveal the strength found in bravery, kindness, and community. Individuals who are determined not to let her memory fade. If you've reached the conclusion of this video, thank you for honoring Mindy. Kindly give this video a thumbs up, subscribe for more true crime documentaries, and activate the notification bell so you never overlook a new case. Share your thoughts in the comments on what changes are necessary to prevent similar tragedies from occurring in the future. Until next time, stay safe, watch out for each other, and I'll catch you in the next video.